So Urban Meyer disciples Kyle Whittingham and yes, Tom Herman got together for their Remember the Alamo Bowl. And well, Tom had an interesting take on committing, recruiting, and what it should mean for kiddos to commit to a university. We got to talk about it after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You got to help me with that corner
What's up, kin folks? It's RJ Young. I'm not on Step Milk. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. So it's college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today, I want to talk about Tom Herman's take on recruiting in this really interesting time for Tom Herman to be recruiting. Now, I'm going to set this up by saying Texas is 7-5. Many of you will know this, right? And they're playing Utah, who lost an opportunity to play in the college football playoff when they got skull dragged by Oregon 37-15. A team that many people thought was good. Turns out they weren't that good, and the schedule really was sort of soft. And then they ran into a buzzsaw, Donald Scrooge. They dove into their money pit. They came out with the Nike emblem and stamped it all over Tyler Huntley and Kyle Whittingham's squad. Okay? So that's how you end up with Utah in the Alamo Bowl with 7-5 Texas, who expected to compete for the college football playoff spot and expected to have Sam Ehlinger as a Heisman finalist. Turns out that's Oklahoma again. But I digress, all right? So you'll know Tom Herman decided to demote Tim Beck, his offensive coordinator, right, to quarterback's coach, and to fire his defense coordinator, Todd Orlando. So both coordinator positions are open at Texas. And, there's been a running joke about they listed it on the website because EEOC and laws and whatnot. So they got to post a job before you give the job. So people have been filling out applications with, stuff like, I promise not to do a good job, that sort of stuff. Now, I bring all up to say because Tom Herman is in a very interesting position as early signing day is fast approaching. In December 18th, that's like a week from today, from this upload, right? So he's got to sure him up, right? Guys like Bijan Robinson, they're solid. There are other kiddos, notably 4 that he's lost in the last month, that are still kind of undecided. Don't know if they want to come to Texas. Don't know if they want to play 7-5 football. Don't know if they want to be a part of a decade long of mediocre football. And that's not a take. That's just what it's been. 4 losses or more. Last time that Texas had a first-round draft pick, was this 2015? Yeesh. All right. So Riley had to do some of this last year. Lincoln Riley. When he fired Mike Stoops after losing to Texas, middle of the season, had to close strong in his recruiting, particularly defensively, without a defense coordinator. All right. But the take that Tom Herman has right now about recruiting and who you're committing to is interesting. And I'm going to read the question that was lobbed at him at the Alamo Bowl, and then I'm going to read his response so that we're all on the same page here. Question is, Tom, coaching changes. Have you seen that play out there, have you seen that play out on the recruiting trail? How are you feeling with the signing period starting early? And his quote, I'm going to read it at length here. The recruiting trail has been great. Our class is extremely solid. Really, it's a much simpler discussion with recruits than I think people realize. Assistant coaches want to be coordinators, and coordinators want to be head coaches. To think that you're going to play for the same position coach and or coordinator for your entire career, that's pretty rare. The trust has to be in myself as a leader of the organization, the strength of the staff, then really all of the other reasons why you commit to a place like the University of Texas. You commit to Texas to get an elite education in one of the top public schools in the entire country, to lay some roots in the number 1 city in America, Austin, Texas, and to develop a network of very powerful people that can provide opportunities for us once you're done playing football. Wow. All right. So Tom Herman's recruiting pitch is, what's a position coach? I mean, position coaches are transitive. Like, they're just kind of on the conveyor belt. They come, they go. That's what they happen. And you're committing to me. You're committing to Tom Herman, who's been head coach at Texas for all of 3 years. All right. Let's unpack this. Whoops. So the first thing that I want to go at is this idea of who you're committing to. Because we all know that position coaches do the bulk of recruiting, right? Cale Gundy, keen closer, also been at Oklahoma 25 years, give or take. You know what I mean? He's been a position coach forever. He's not going anywhere. Like, he doesn't seem to want to take another job. And because he's such a king recruiter, he's always going to be employed at Oklahoma. Also, did I mention he played quarterback at Oklahoma? So, there's that. Jay Boulware, special teams coach, running backs coach at Oklahoma. He's just completing like his fourth season. No big there. He's actually been around for an entire cycle of kiddos come through Oklahoma. Bill Beatonbow, offensive line coach, been around since 2013. Doesn't seem to want to take another job. Doesn't seem to want to be a coordinator or a head coach, though that's there for him. And Lincoln Riley said, hey, if he wanted it, Godspeed, because he's just that good. Dennis Simmons, outside wide receivers coach. D.D. Westbrook, C.D. Lamb, Hollywood Brown, mean anything to you. Sterling Shepard, all those guys have come through, since he got hired in 2015. And oh, by the way, you know who else got hired in 2015? Guy by the name of Lincoln Riley. He's been the coordinator, offensive coordinator, head coach for the past 5 years. Made 3 college football playoffs. So I call BS there, Tom. You love to commit to people who like their jobs and want to stay at the organization. And the strength of Oklahoma is its continuity. All right? The strength of any organization is its continuity. Like, that's business 101. You hire somebody and you try to leave them in that position for as long as they feel that they can be in that position. Now, yes, people have aspirations where they want to take other jobs, right? Marcus Arroyo is a good example of this at Oregon. He took the head coaching job at UNLV. Turns out he went to school with the dude who's the athletic director. Makes a lot of sense. It's nice to have relationships with people before you get to a place where they might be your boss, right? But one of the things that you look over at Clemson, you see the same thing. Took Jeff Scott years before he wanted to take another head coaching job. Tony Elliott's still there. Brent Venables has been there since he left Oklahoma back when, 2012? Mike Stoops was brought back to Oklahoma. Dabo Swinney's been there since like 2008. You know what I mean? Like, you look around at some of the class organizations, yes, Alabama, different bird altogether, but that's also how they operate up there at Tuscaloosa. What's continuity to Nick Saban? It's not like he wants everybody to take a job. He would love to keep his staff intact. I mean, there's the famous "Where's Dan?" story from Bruce Feldman in The Athletic about Dan Enos just kind of leaving one day to be the offense coordinator at Miami. That's what they do up there. So everybody's different. But to tell a child that you're committing to me, the head coach, a guy that you might not even see every day, a guy that's not necessarily responsible for running you through drills, who probably did not recruit you the way that, let's say, your position coach might have. Calvin Thibodeau, defensive line coach at Oklahoma? Yeah. You think dudes are committing to Lincoln Riley? Sure. Lincoln sends an offer. You commit to Lincoln, but you play for Calvin and then Lincoln. You know what I mean? And you want to talk about the number 1 city in America. Austin. Great city. Awesome city. South by Southwest. Austin city limits. Been down there a number of times. The Harry Ransom is way overlooked. I love that center. Went down there to take a look at David Foster Wallace's works. And I'm a David Foster Wallace fanboy. I dropped out of a PhD program to, do this. So, English is what I do. And I wrote this book, Let It Bang. You should go buy it. But point that I'm making here is you're telling me all the reasons for why you want to go to Texas except play national championship level football. Did I miss something? I don't know. I don't know that I just want to walk around there looking at statues of Joe Jamel, of which there are many. Field, Joe Jamel Field. I get it. Cool. Matthew McConaughey comes through there. Can he play ball? Where was the voodoo that you do when, they played Baylor in Waco? How about Iowa State? How about that? How about when they rushed the field in Ames? Yo, how about OU Texas? How about the Cotton Bowl? How'd that go? LSU? That went better? I get it. There's lots of folks that think I'm just taking shots and whatnot. No, I'm not really doing that. I'm saying that if this is the argument that you're trotting out to children that I know are very smart because I talk to them, I got to wonder, are you listening to yourself speak? I would disagree. I would disagree with you. I would bring up other things, right? People want to talk noise about Norman the way they want to talk noise about Lincoln. You know what Norman and Lincoln did better than anybody else for a considerable amount of time? Win football games. Okay, I get it. Nebraska ain't very good, but look back in the 90s, did nobody want no part of Nebraska. Last 20 years, being an OU football player, OU football fan, OU anything, has been really good for business, all right? Not a losing season to look at in 20 years. What are you going to argue about? How many Heisman winners? As many as national championships? 7? Do you want to play football? Do you want to go to the place where I got my degree? My master's is from the University of Oklahoma. I got my undergrad at the University of Tulsa. I was in the program at Oklahoma State. I am an Oklahoma-grown dude. I get it. Texas is fun. There's lots of stuff to do in Texas. Just not any Big 12 championships in the last, 10 years. Matter of fact, the last 5 kind of gone to Oklahoma, just gonna, the Big 12 trophy has been in Norman long enough to establish residency as an Oklahoman. Like, it pays in-state tuition at this point. Just gonna throw that out there. All right, deuces.